always been an active guy throughout my whole life. Been very upbeat, positive, kind of just outgoing kind of person, Played 3 sports growing up my whole life. So my positive attitude has come from a lot of different areas, in my opinion. I think, growing up, being as close to my family as I was growing up, I have a humongous family. Helped tremendously with how close we are now. We've been even closer. The biggest thing for me, I think emotionally, and the biggest obstacle has been not being able to do the stuff for someone else. If anyone else was in this situation, I would be the first one to be there and wanting to be able to do everything for them. Some lady had hit us trying to get over, and they had actually got a couple calls in prior to the accident about a lady that had been swerving all over the highway. She was on drugs, doing about 90, just being reckless. Flipped our vehicle several times. I'm not sure how many. In the process of us being flipped, I was ejected out of the vehicle. They had called Air Care. Air Care came in and put me on the helicopter. I remember a brief flashback of looking up and some guy asking me, some questions, and all I could do is just shake my head, and I couldn't answer him. When I hear the helicopter in the background. So other than that, they picked me up in the helicopter. On my way there, the lady said that she could tell I started to go into respiratory distress, and she had intubated me. So I went into surgery, and then they went in from the front. At first, they laid me on my back, and they went in from the front, right here on my neck. The neurosurgeon did. She went in, and my spine, C1 through 6, had shifted forward, and the 6th vertebrae actually had fused to the front of the 7th vertebrae. And so when she went in from the front, she didn't have enough there to be able to pull the 6 off, up, and put it back into place where she needed to. They flipped me over to my stomach. They went in from the back side. He was able to pull my spine back up and over in place. Then he fused my C6 and 7, put some rods in there and all kinds of stuff. Had stitched that up in the back. They flipped me back over. The neurosurgeon went back in from the front and had put some screws and plates and a little piece of cadaver bone in there to fix. I had fractured a little bit of my vertebrae on my 7th, just barely, and so they put a little bit of piece of bone in there just so it can fuse together. They fused them all together, put a plate in front of the 2 to hold them together, some screws, and stitched me back up. About the second day, when a doctor that was just there for the day, kind of filling in, came in and told me, he said, so just so you know, your medical prognosis is that you will never move anything below your shoulders again. And so that was then kind of the first time it was like, okay, this had happened, because they keep you on so much medicine while you're in the hospital that you're not so much conscious as you think you are. And so I actually remember a lot more than most people say they do. And so I remember looking at the nurse who was there with me that night, Terry, and I was like, Terry, is that true? And he goes, if doctors knew everything, they'd be able to fix this, right? And so ever since then, I'd kind of been like, yeah, it is what it is kind of thing. And I didn't realize until I had actually gotten moved to inpatient program at Drake and stayed there that I was what I was. And I'm still learning new things to this day about my actual injury itself. My level of injury is C6 and C7. And at the beginning, neither of my triceps were firing. And this whole side actually is weaker still now. And it was from the beginning. I had fractured my shoulder blade, which had hindered a lot of strength and pain mobility. Just trying to figure out everything that comes with the lifestyle. I had no idea about anything about a spinal cord injury to begin with. I had no idea really about handicap situations in general. No one in my family has ever been in that situation and never been exposed to it. So just being able to adjust to that lifestyle, everything that you need, which I'm still finding out. About a year ago, we had Carl come out when I was at Drake and talk to some of my parents and come out to the house from MedMart. And he looked at, my driveway, which is really steep, and he looked at the garage setup and the front door, the garage door, the back door, and looked at the whole house and the bathroom itself and the room that I was going to be staying in, and pretty much just analyzed it and told us what our best options were for getting me in the house and being able to have me live here as well as my dad's. Because at first we had thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to even get in here for several months, at least 6 months to even a year out of my injury. And with him being here and him saying that, it actually helped me get here within the first month or two after I got home and after I was released. So he came out and, gave us some specs on, what kind of ramp to get and the bathroom and the room and the doorway, and told us that, everything was possible and it was doable. There's 2 on-off switches. There's one that runs from the main hose, and then there's that you can switch on and off to come out the main shower head. So if anyone else wants to get in there, it's just like a normal shower. Then you can switch to the hose, which comes to me, and then there's an on-off switch on the hose. So if I set the shower handle, on the side or something like that, which they have a little side area, which has been really nice, that I can shut the shower handle down on. I can either turn off the water, or I can turn the shower head toward me and just lean forward, and scrub my hair and do whatever I need to have the constant water running on me. Finally coming back here and being able to shower every day, and I just feel so much better, and you just wake up in such a better mood knowing that you can shower. It just makes a world's difference. And my age of people, and you go out and you don't look like you used to, or you just don't look clean, and you're just like, man, I don't even feel comfortable. You don't feel that self-confidence. I feel so much cleaner. I don't stink. I don't have to deal with the frustration of that, and just so much nicer. And then to the roll under, it's like the perfect height, depth, everything just about it. So I can pull right underneath it. They have some coating underneath on the pipes that I haven't had even a scratch on my knees from. So, and I pull right up and I run into those, lock my chair, and I can lean. I can put my elbows on top of the sink to balance myself when I brush my teeth, and then I can lean forward far enough to be able to spin the sink, and it's deep enough so the water isn't splashing on me. And I can lean forward far enough to keep my hand right on the water, and then just kind of use that as like a cup or something to drink out of. My own hand is a cup, and then it has 2 handles, and then a tall faucet, and the 2 handles are nice too because I can do the hot and the cold to whatever I need to there. That's been really nice. So if you're new out there, to your injury, and it's a brand new thing to you, you don't know what's going on, and it's a big, long change in your life, humongous. I'd say the biggest things would just be to, keep your head up as much as possible. Keep yourself surrounded with as much as you can, as much support from your family, as much support from your friends, and stay confident with yourself. Nothing has changed. Just because you can't do as much, you personally haven't changed, and that's enough to be thankful for in itself. We're all still here. We were all put through a horrible situation, and there's no reason that we changed at all. And your confidence is what's gonna promote you in life. Your confidence is what everybody needs in general. So you need to stay as confident as you can with yourself, no matter when you think that you're different, because you're not. And you got to try to stay as motivated as possible, because you're not going to get anywhere if you just stay complacent with yourself. You got to be realistic about the situation that you're in, and there's no sugarcoating, there's no anything like that. It is what has to be done, and you got to deal with it and just move on from there. And I think that the biggest thing is it's possible, and that's what everybody needs to know. Nothing is unreachable. It's all possible to do. At the beginning, it was strictly therapy. Pretty much that's what I thought I could do at the beginning. And then I was opened up to, once I got home, I knew that the number one thing I wanted to get back to was lifting, and working out to try to build some strength to be able to do more. So I've worked out a lot, been to several gyms to do different types of lifting and different types of working out. I was open up to a lot of stuff this past weekend in Alabama at a camp that I went to. I got to water ski, which was an amazing experience. I got to get on a jet ski. I got the canoe, kayak with my dad, which was really awesome, which is scary. You're right next to the water, I got to get on a ATV, a side-by-side, and I got to drive that with hand controls, which is awesome. And I did a rock climbing wall, zip lining. That was awesome. I got to do, there's a dance, which is a lot of fun, and even though it was weird not being able to move my legs and do what I needed to, I still got out there and let loose and just flailed around, and it was still just as fun. Hand cycling, I've tried all that stuff down at Shepherd. I got a hand cycling bike, which is a lot of fun, and you can fly on one of those things. That's what's fun about it. Telling me all this kind of stuff. Swimming, I didn't think I'd ever be able to swim again. I can swim on my own without any floaties or anything. Yeah, I can tread water, I can frog swim, do all that kind of stuff, and just getting out there and doing it, and people telling me, introducing me. I've done almost every sport you can think of. I did more sports after the accident than I have before. To my family and friends, can't express your gratitude enough, and you never realize, I never thought it was possible for so many people to give as much as they have. You hear about all these people who are just give, and you're like, man, that's just crazy, and then you put a situation like this in someone's life, and you really find out how awesome someone is, because they give twice as much as you thought was humanly possible. They would do anything and everything for you at all times. They stop their life to do whatever possible for you to get back into your life and to reach whatever you can. I mean, my family and friends have been such a big support in my life. I don't think I would be even close to where I am now without any of them. And just being able to get out and do stuff with their help, and whatever I needed, whatever I've asked, everyone's always been right there. What can I do? That's big, and the biggest thing. They've always, what can I do for you? What else can I do? They're always wanting to give more and more and more, and you can't express your gratitude enough.